Have you ever really stopped to think about how you're built? Not with wood and nails, obviously, but with something so much more amazing? Today, we're going to take a tour of the microscopic factories inside your cells that are working right now to build you protein by protein.
I mean, let that sink in for a second. How is it possible that one tiny cell, something you can't even see, has everything it needs, the instructions, the machinery, to build and run an entire living thing? It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. Well, the secret lies in a perfectly organized microscopic factory. And this factory is running in every single one of your trillions of cells, all day, every day, with one primary job: to build.
And like any good factory, it's got a production line. It's a three-step process. First, you get the instructions from the command center, the nucleus. Then it's off to the assembly line, the rough ER, where the actual building happens. And finally, everything goes to the shipping department, the Golgi, for packaging and delivery. So let's follow a protein's journey.
Okay, first stop, the nucleus. This is the big boss's office, the command center of the whole operation.
So the nucleus is basically a secure vault. Its job is to protect the master blueprints for the entire organism. And those blueprints? That's your DNA. It holds the instructions for every single protein your body will ever need to make. But here's the catch. The original DNA blueprints are way too valuable to just leave the nucleus. They can't risk getting damaged, so the cell does something clever. It makes a temporary, disposable copy of just the instructions it needs right now. That copy is called messenger RNA, or mRNA for short. And that copying process, we call that transcription. So once that mRNA work order is printed, it's got to get out to the factory floor, right? It leaves the command center through these special little gateways called nuclear pores. Now it's on its way to get the job done.
And where does it go? To our next stop, the rough ER. This is the bustling, noisy assembly line of our factory.
Now, the rough ER is this massive network of folded membranes. But what makes it rough? Well, it's covered at millions of tiny little dots called ribosomes. And these guys, these are the actual workers, the machines that are going to build our proteins.
And you can really get a sense of that rough texture here. See all those little red dots? Each one is a ribosome, a little worker on the assembly line, just waiting for the mRNA instructions to arrive from the nucleus. This is where the blueprint starts to become a real product. So how does it actually work? Well, a ribosome grabs onto that mRNA message and starts reading it, kind of like a barcode scanner. As it reads the code, it grabs the right amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins, and links them together, one by one, into a long chain. This part of the process is called translation. But you know, a long, floppy chain of amino acids isn't a protein yet, not even close. As this chain gets built, it's fed into the ER, and that's where the magic happens. It starts to fold into a very specific, complex 3D shape. And that shape is absolutely crucial. It's what gives the protein its function. It might also get some finishing touches, like having sugar chains added. Okay, so our protein is built, it's folded, but it's still stuck on the assembly line. It's not at its final destination yet. So how in the world does it get from this huge ER network over to the packaging center?
It gets its own little cargo truck. A small bubble of membrane, called a vesicle, actually pinches off from the ER, wrapping up the new protein inside. This vesicle then travels through the cell, safely delivering its precious cargo to the next and final stop on our tour. And that final stop is the Golgi apparatus. Welcome to the factory's official shipping department.
You can think of the Golgi as the cell's mailroom or post office. It receives all the incoming packages, those vesicles from the ER, and then it gets to work. It processes them, sorts them, and puts a final shipping label on each one to make sure every protein gets to exactly where it needs to go.
And this comparison shows the difference perfectly, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the huge, sprawling ER network. It's built for mass production. But on the right, the Golgi is a neat, compact stack. Its structure is all about efficiency in sorting and shipping, not building. So, inside the Golgi, the proteins get their final tune-up. Enzymes might make some last-minute changes. Then they get sorted. Based on their chemical tags, some proteins are sent to the cell membrane, while others might get shipped out of the cell entirely. Once they're all sorted, they get packaged up into brand new vesicles, ready to be sent on their way. So let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture, the whole system working together. It's really an amazing process.
You start with just one instruction, tucked away safely in the DNA in the nucleus. And from that, you get a fully functional, perfectly folded and modified protein, packaged and shipped to its exact destination. It's a flawless, coordinated production line.
So, if we're recapping our factory tour, the nucleus is the CEO's office, holding onto the master blueprints. The rough ER is the busy assembly line, building and folding the products. And the Golgi apparatus is the efficient shipping department, handling all the final packaging and sorting. This incredible teamwork is what allows life to be so complex.
This elegant system, it doesn't just build random stuff, it builds you. The proteins that make up your muscles, the enzymes that digest your food, they all came from this very factory. So I'll leave you with a question to think about. What do you think happens when just one part of this incredible, essential factory breaks down?